Hey gang, Scott and I are going to go take on the Big Creek Trail here in the Cohutta Wilderness. Let's get into it and see how it goes. Alright, GPS acquire here, got a GPS signal. Let's get into it. Let's go. Come on. Get on. Get on now. Get on up the trail. Come on. This is one of my favorite trails here in the Cohutta. It's just absolutely beautiful. Here late summer, it's a little bit overgrown. The rest of the year this is pretty open. Got a few downed trees along the way. Should open up here in a little bit though. What's really cool about this trail though is it follows Big Creek here on the left, and then it's going to go up on a ridge line, which has some great terrain and some pretty great views as well. It's cool because you have to kind of keep your mind switched on this trail, because some of the more, it's not per se technical, but foot placement definitely matters. There's some cool, I guess it's quartz formations along the way here too that are just really kind of hard to get your mind around. I'll show you one of them in a minute. There you go, Scott. Get on now. Move it on. A lot of spiders today. A lot of spiders. There's one of the first of these quartz formations. You can see there, and they go along. Right, here's another really good one. Look at that. Just comes straight across the river, goes right into the bank in the mountain here, and just really spectacular. I'm not a geologist. Kind of makes me wonder if there's got to be gold here. Come on, Scott, move it. Get on up the trail. Move it on. Move it on, Scott. Get along. Get this dog moving here so we can make some time. This is where one of the spots where the trail kind of starts to get fun, but actually on a roundaways is where it really turns cool. Now we're not going to today because we're kind of short on time in between conference calls for work, but you can actually take this trail all the way to the summit of Big Frog. From here, it's about a 6.5 mile climb to the summit, and then of course the return descent. So it's basically just about a half marathon, but it is a butt kicker, because this is one of the lower approach points to the summit here, so you get a lot of vertical gain. hopefully settle into a bit of a heart rate rhythm here in a bit. But it feels good to be out. I can't believe how many spiders there are. Normally you see a few, but maybe it's because the hurricane's coming, I don't know. I trained out here a lot last year before the 3 days of Silamo race over in Arkansas, because it's just a cool place to come camping with the family. Great trail. It's always interesting and exciting. And as I said, you kind of have to keep your mind switched on, so you can't just completely zone out. And you can get some serious climbs on this trail. Somebody's done a little trail work here. That's good. I should probably do some. Hadn't quite figured the angle yet out on this GoPro because it's brand new, but if you see that or not, but I'm setting about 154 beats a minute on heart rate, which I should settle down a little bit as we go. Curious to see how this GoPro works out. I've wanted one for a long time and just had never made the plunge, and maybe it was good to wait because the Hero 7 Black is supposed to have unbelievable image stabilization. So making something like this, trail running with the camera, possible without a gimbal. We'll see. Now this is an awesome section of trail here. And again, overgrown a little bit. Don't let that discourage you. It's not normally like this. Starting to pull up away from the creek though, which kind of enables that amazing view down there. My left foot, trail's pretty narrow, so my left foot's wanting to slip out here on the side. And so use ankle strength a little bit to keep me from rolling off. It's about the most overgrown I've seen it. I think it's a combination of had a really wet year. There's a tree that came down last winter right here. Whoa, I about went down. Get it, Scout. Come on. Good boy. It's my trail dog. Combination of a wet year this year, lots of rain. We've also had a pretty good summer. It's actually been pretty warm and fairly humid, which I suspect is good for the vegetation. And a really wet winter too. I suspect though, as summer starts to fade and the light starts to fade, this vegetation will start to recede. And I think the other factor is this trail, unfortunately, is not getting a lot of use these days. One bad phenomenon I think that's coming with the overlanding kind of revolution. Good that folks are getting out, but bad in the sense that I don't think many people are venturing out of their cars onto the trails and actually putting in some work. They're kind of riding around to get their nature fix. You got to do both, folks. And remember, most important aspects of these forests is access. And I feel like I'm concerned personally, my opinion, that access is starting to dwindle because use is going way down. Here's kind of a crazy little section. Woo! I guess the government figures people aren't using it. There's no need for access. Which is bad for those of us that actually love to use these forests. So get out there, folks. It's important. I think I'm gonna like running with the GoPro. I don't know how you guys are gonna like the videos, but it's nice for me to be able to talk. Actually, I like running with people, so I can talk to them while I run. And a lot of you are thinking, my gosh, talking while you're running, it's got to be horrible. But it's pretty cool with a group because it really takes your mind off the fact that you're out doing something good for your body. It just becomes kind of a social event. It's one of the reasons I got my running partner back here, Scout, is he's always ready to go run. And it's just fun to have somebody with me. You know, I've logged a lot of miles together. Go under this one. Woo! Oh, I just broke my watch. One thing I do not like about this Garmin band on the Chronos, the pins are really, really easy to pop out. My Phoenix 3, so much better about that. I actually think I might have lost a link there. Yeah, no, just a pin. So I've got more pins at the house, but that's frustrating because it's one of my biggest concerns about using this watch in the wilderness. Afraid I'm gonna lose it. In the winter, this is a pretty decent creek crossing. This time of year though, it's not bad. The trail right here, if you don't know it, can be a little bit misleading, but it actually kind of turns and goes up what you think would be the creek bed here for 50, 100 yards, and then you're back into the single track. We're lucky today, we'll see some bear or wild pigs, be able to get them on the GoPro. This trail, you don't really see any bear on it often, but we've seen a lot of wild pigs here, haven't we, Scout? Scott doesn't like either bear or wild pig, and he chases both, which can scary for two different reasons, obviously. This set of trees has been down for a couple years now. Somebody's cut it back. All right, we just clicked over our first mile, according to the Garmin, that I'm now holding in my hand because the band broke. Going across that tree. So funny, I've been running cross country with my boys because they're both running it for school. We ran a 5K this past weekend. Let's see, what have I been doing here? I've been going around. Actually, it looks like it's clearing out a little bit. We'll go around anyway. Anyway, we had a 5K event on Saturday. And I've never been a fast runner. I like to go long. But this 5K, I think I ran at like 8:30 a mile. And we just clicked over that first mile on trail here at 14 something. And so that seems slow if you're used to running on the road with a deer track. But trail, for me at least, is a whole different animal than running on roads. Here we go, back onto the trail now. So, never really broke stride there going around that obstacle. Probably a little slower than on the trail, but still running nonetheless, keeping the heart rate up. I'm so excited though that the boys now are kind of taking a liking to running and can kind of come out here and run with me. They've both ran this trail with me before. Last time James and I ran it together, he was running pretty solid. And I was thinking to myself, and it's probably not gonna be long until he's faster than me. He's 13 now. And at this 5K this weekend, he beat me for the first time. I still think I can get him on a good day though. We got a lot going on with work right now. This is a great way to come out and kind of help manage the intensity and stress. You get out here and eventually it just kind of all melts away. Nature's 100% my medicine. The air is super muggy and stagnant today. Hurricane Dorian's probably just off the Georgia coast. Or I think I saw it was around Tybee Island. And it's so still here today. They're forecasting high winds, gusts up to 30 miles an hour tonight. Right now, it is crazy still. So there's no air moving at all here in the woods, which makes it pretty humid. Turned 44 yesterday, and a lot of times when I'm out here running, especially by myself, especially crossing these obstacles, I try to prioritize safety because I don't quite have the flexibility that I used to have. Apparently my balance is a little bit diminished too, but I find the more fit that I am, the easier all that stuff is. So I think at 44, I've come to the conclusion that if I maintain my fitness level now, that I can hold on to it late into life. But I've also come to the conclusion that I'm at the age that any little bit of capability, capacity that I have right now that I let slip is exceptionally difficult. I hate to say impossible to regain. So I definitely don't want to take that chance. So I want to try to stay active. And for some of the work we're doing right now, it's pretty clear that things like dementia, cognitive decline, if they can't be cured through physical activity, they can almost be cured through physical activity. What I mean by that is preventing them from ever happening. Whew. Because I think if you wait too long and you get early onset dementia, early onset cognitive impairment, it's really difficult to reverse. You got to keep those blood vessels in the brain open, a lot of good oxygen flow. I'm climbing now at 235 feet a minute, vertical. Whew. And I feel it. Probably on camera, doesn't look like it, but you can probably hear it in my breathing. Whew. Another down tree. Slow down on this one. I'm kind of tired. There we go. Good boy, Scout. Come on. Good boy. Move it on. Yeah, that's my running buddy. He's normally out front leading the way, but I think with this humidity today, the fact that I'm starting to get a little bit more fit, moving a little quicker, he's okay kind of tucking in back there. He smells something, he'll take off though. That's for sure. Dog is always on. Kind of extra dose of Rin 1010. Ooh, no, climb. All right, we passed the 1.5 mile point. So anything from here back is 3 miles or more. We'll keep going a little bit more. Again, we're pretty tight on time today, which is another, I think, good point, is that even if you don't think you have time, a lot of times you really do. It's just an excuse we give ourselves. You can squeeze in a pretty awesome workout in 30, 45 minutes. And doing a little bit every day really matters. Dang spiders. Good news is after the turnaround, we got downhill for a little while, so we can kind of get a good recovery. Because we've been on a steady climb here for a bit. Go right here. Just a little lower. I'm really curious to see what this video looks like. See if it looks like I'm running or walking with that image stabilization. You can probably hear from my feet turn over. I'm definitely running, albeit slow. It's a steady push, folks. Steady push up. And really, from this point forward, if you get summit a Big Frog, it doesn't relent. If anything, a few places it really shoots up. I'm going to call it right here 1.63 miles. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if you can see it or not. This rock has perfectly round hole drilled in it. Obviously, probably drilled for survey purposes or something. Here we go back. And that's it for me. Most runs, if I'm doing it out and back, turnaround points, really not a lot of fanfare. I try not to hang out too much, let my heart rate come too far back down. Now, the times that I do this route, where I go all the way to the Big Frog, to the summit, and I'm pushing 6.5 miles up, I typically will sit down at the top, drink a little water, and eat a snack. But even then, at most, typically, it's 20-30 minutes. It's funny, it kind of starts to feel like an eternity that you're sitting there, even though it's not that long. So you just get antsy and ready to move again. This trail's not too bad. There's some of these around here that have almost grown up unusable. I know some of you are looking at the video going, my gosh, that's really grown up. In person, it's not that bad if you're willing to brush up against a tree every now and then and just kind of push it through. Some of them are like, you're going along and you end up in full-on bushwhacking, but this one only really has one spot that I do that right now. And that's because of that down tree. It's not because of the overgrowth. And the overgrowth, I do believe will rescind. We'll run this again late fall, early winter on camera and show you the difference, which would be kind of cool. Yeah, and I hope this isn't too boring. Obviously for me it's a blast. I'm having tons of fun and I enjoy talking with you guys because it takes my mind off those hills, lets me think about something else and kind of what I want to say and why I think you guys should come check this area out, because it's spectacular. This is the largest wilderness in the eastern United States. And when we cross that creek back there, I think technically it's called Peter Camp Branch, is I believe where you cross into the actual wilderness boundary. On the Georgia side, it's the Big Frog Wilderness. On the Tennessee side of the line, it is the Big Frog Wilderness. But it's basically one continuous federal wilderness spread across 2 states. And it is spectacular. Trails, waterfalls, really cool rock formations. Pretty remote. I mean, you can come out here sometimes. We might do it today. Running, hiking, even camping or overlanding for 3 or 4 days. Go an entire long weekend and not see a single person. Especially if you're out on the trails, which is why I try to always be pretty good about telling somebody where I'm going. I told them before I left the house that I was gonna go do the Big Frog Trail, I thought. That works out most of the time. Some of the time, you know, I come out here with the intentions of doing one trail and there's a bunch of people on the trail, which is not always the best situation. Running with Scout because he's definitely a protector. And so we'll come out here with the intentions of running one trail, find that trail to be pretty full of people or cars at the trailhead, So we'll hop over and do another one, which is fine as far as the running goes, but not fine in the sense that I told somebody I was going here and then end up on a different trail. I've got a, I think it's ACR, personal locator satellite beacon that I've had for years. I think I first got it when we did an expedition in Alaska, and it's great because it allows you to call for help really almost anywhere on the planet, from the Arctic to the Himalaya. It's pretty big though. They've gotten smaller since I bought mine. I've had mine more than a decade. They've gotten smaller now, but the true satellite locator beacons are still not tiny. I'm kind of thinking now about Garmin's InReach platform, because it'll talk to my Overlander in the tundra. They give me two-way messaging capability, so I could have conversation back and forth, maybe even get a little work done by seeing some emails and responding. But the coverage can be a little bit more spotty on those, so they don't work quite everywhere that the true satellite locator beacons are. And 99% of the time, that's fine. The thing is, though, is you're keeping that device with you for the 1% of the time that you really mess yourself up. I guess the likelihood of the 1% of the time you mess yourself up being in the same 1% of the time that you don't have coverage, probability is low. And I'm kind of starting to think about that more and more with edge cases, like dual battery setups in the truck. You know, sure, you need it sometimes, but really not that much. And the extreme case that everybody talks about, you know, your fridge running your starting battery down, you not being able to start, I think can reasonably be mitigated now with these new lithium-ion jumper packs. So that's the route that I'm leaning towards pretty strongly on my Tundra build, is replacing the factory starting battery, which I think everybody will agree is not that great, with the Group 27 AGM or Group 31 battery that has, looking at the North Star X2 and the Odyssey Group 31, 92 amp hours and 31 amp hours respectively. Most popular on the forum seems to be the North Star X2. I think a lot of that's because it's drop-in. It's pretty well the exact same size as the factory battery. Really not any major mods. It's a little heavier, but manageable. So I think that's the way I'm going. And then pull a set of 10 gauge leads to the bed for the truck show camper and fuse it, circuit break it, and put my fridge on it. And then if I need to, you know, I can add a Gold Zero back there, or Dometic's got a new interesting battery pack. It would trickle charge off the cigarette lighter plug, and then when you're stopped, would run your fridge off of it. Just a few spots with down trees seem more manageable this direction. I think that's because it's downhill. Ah, my broken Garmin. 2 miles, 2.08 miles. Telling you, that would not happen with my Phoenix 3. It's got big, beefy pins, and I put a NATO strap on it. And even with the new Phoenixes, like the Phoenix 6 even, I just think the pins are the weak point. Oh, here's my detour, my one bushwhack on this trail because of that big tree down. There's a little pig wallow where that tree used to be. See that? And there's some tracks in there, mostly deer tracks. I don't see any piggy feet today in the mud there. kind of fun, though, stream of consciousness as I run. Again, I'll have to watch it and see how engaging or miserably boring it is, but I'm hopeful. Especially for those of you that are maybe interested in some of these trails. I tell you my heart rate right now, but I don't know what my Garmin's off the wrist. If I had to guess, I'm in the 140s because I'm not completely leisurely when I'm talking, but I'm not suffering that. But that's a big tree right there. A couple of those out here that have been here for a while. I think it has to mean that there's good underground water to see trees get that big. There's a giant, I think either poplar or chestnut tree, maybe chestnut tree, on the other side of this forest. It's like one of the largest old growth logs or trees left here in the eastern United States. It is huge. Like, it's not quite redwood big, but it is big. And it's kind of hard to believe that there were trees like that here in the eastern United States, because they all got logged out in the early 1900s. I guess maybe a little bit in the late 1800s as well. But there were, and it's living proof of it. And it's an easy hike if you just look up giant chestnut tree, Cohutta Wilderness. You'll find it, and it's maybe, I want to say it's maybe a mile in there. There's a Peter Camp branch sign. You can see that. And then right here is the wilderness boundary. So we're now back out of the federal wilderness and just in the national forest. And looky here, guys. There's poop, fresh, on the trail that's been there since Scott and I came through. And that's not Scott's poop. It's got tons of seeds in it. So we got some sort of wild animal, fairly large, right here in this vicinity. Scott's not scenting anything, and he's not chasing after anything yet. So that's just in the 20 minutes or so since we've come through here. So there's definitely wildlife in this forest. I'm not a poop expert, so I can't tell you exactly what that was, but it's either dog-like. It had a lot of seeds in it though, persimmon, something like that. Maybe coyote, maybe black bear, although I think they may look a little different. Oh, big time uphill. Get back up on this ridge. Whew. We're climbing now, hard. Hopefully I'm looking up high enough in this camera angle you guys can see what's going on, because as I get more tired here, I find that I'm looking down a little lower. I keep trying to look up. See, the other thing I don't know with this GoPro is how the camera angles are yet. That's kind of what this run's all about. That and getting a run in before I go run with the kids at cross country practice. Back on that pretty section, if you can see. I'm not gonna look off too much because I don't want to end up down there, but whew. If you can see Scott, I don't know if you can or not. Whew. Sketchy section. Once we pop up on top here, though, especially in the winter, this is a fast and fun kind of descent and rolling hills back to the parking area or camp. Won't be as fast today because of the overgrowth. Telling you, gang, you don't have to be out here running. Just be out here hiking or walking, or even hiking around your downtown. I didn't run yesterday. I took Scout for a long walk downtown though, and just moving every day, or whatever you got, because the more you do it, the better you get, the easier it gets. And it's so important. So much of our disease and early decline of memory. Something just jumped up there in the woods. Something small, bunny or something. Maybe a bird. Anyway, our disease and cognitive decline and those types of things, we're doing it to ourselves through diet and sedentary lifestyles. Come on, Scott. Good boy. Good boy. Especially if you get a furry four-legged friend, they need to be out here doing this stuff too. They're not evolved to sit around either. So if you really love them, it's not about feeding them, it's about, obviously that's important, but keeping them out doing something active. And again, it could just be walking. This is, I'm telling you though, one of the best stress medicines in the world. The most natural stress medicine you can find. Maybe I'll start a trend and folks will put me on podcast and go run with me, listening to the audio. Maybe that'll be inspiring in how I change the world. Who knows? But I think the overlay of the video is going to be kind of cool. Hoping everything works out on the recording. That was kind of a fun little section right there. Getting a little faster here. Whoa, big spider. Nice to crest over the hill and stretch out a little bit. I don't know if you can hear that pack moving or not, but there's a company called Hill People Gear, and they make these chest packs. And I don't like anything on my back when I'm running because it gets hot. And these Hill People Gear chest packs are great because they're just right here on your chest. It's vented in the back. Everything's kind of right at your fingertips, so you're not trying to fumble and get something from behind you while you're trying to keep your eye on the trail. I really like them. I've been using it now for 6-8 months, and I highly recommend it. Exceptionally well made and strong. I've got the runner version, but that's pretty much the same thing as some of the smaller chest packs they have that have MOLLE on the front. The only difference is the elastic chest strap, which kind of stabilizes it, and you can buy that separately. So I think I'll eventually get one of their other pouches. I think it's called the Recon, and add the elastic stabilizer strap. That way I can have some MOLLE on the front to kind of fast clip a flashlight or pocket knife or really whatever you want super quick access to without unzipping the pouch. Other than that, this pack's awesome. It's awesome anyway, but that would make it awesomer if there is such a thing. Oh. This is the rolling part that I was talking about. A little bit of climb here. And again, it may look flat on the camera. Quite frankly, it can almost look like a false flat here. But that part was definitely a little climb. Trying to figure out a way to do these videos because we're always outside, always doing a lot of stuff that people are definitely watching on YouTube and are engaged in, but trying to find a balance of doing it in a way that doesn't feel like that's really all we're out here doing is filming and then editing once we get back home. Trying to do it more, they call it video blog, vlog style, so that nice little section right here. So it's pretty passive other than just talking, which I like. There's the creek. Coming back to it, coming back to that big section of quartz. That's where we're at on the trail. But I'm also a gear junkie. I use a lot of stuff. And so a lot of times now I find myself when I'm interested in something, I go out and I try to find videos about it, about what other people think. And the reviews are cool, but I kind of like the notion of kind of seeing it in actual use and then hearing some reflections about it. So maybe I'll try some of that too. So we're kind of on the home stretch now. This little section right along the creek, which again is normally a really fast section, but we'll get some down limbs here today, so it won't be quite as fast. 2.94 miles right here. So if you're keeping up with the video time down at the bottom of the video, you'll tell that I'm not breaking any world records on speed. 14, 15 mile an hour pace. But you can also probably tell that I'm constantly running here. So we're not hiking. But it's, for me anyway, it's a slower game in the woods. Because I'm about 8.5 minute mile on the pavement. Here we go. Up. A little slower going over this time. Go for it, Scout. There's my 3 miles clicking over. 16:20.85 on that last mile. So again, not breaking any world records. But my goal is activity, elevated heart rate, reduce stress. Out here with Scout, having fun. And you're not competing with anybody but you, unless you want to. Here's Big Creek, pretty low and pretty slow right now. This winter, it rained so much it was roaring. All right, we're popping back out of the wilderness now at the trailhead. There's our sign, big piece of quartz. And there's Big Tundi, my new 2019 Tundra TRD Pro, which by the way, I love so far. I agonized on the decision to trade the Tacoma, but this thing's awesome for us. All right, gang, more later. A little water for Scout after the run. I have a cheap collapsible silicone bowl that Sarah got I actually got a TJ Maxx. It works really great for him. Just kind of always having it in the truck. Hey boy, did you like that? Get a drink there myself. Scout's gonna be a lot happier in a few weeks when the camper show gets put on. That way he's got more room. But he's okay riding in there with his water and just chilling. He kind of likes it.